Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Hey family, on Sunday, October 13th, I am celebrating 29 years in promotion and production at the New Black Wall Street Mall with tribute to Dick Gregory. That's right, celebrating 29 years, so text that number to get more information. Remember, Baba Ashra Kwesi and Mirra Kwesi will be closing out the evening with a salute by Dr. B. Sirius, Brother Rich, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Lorenzo Sanford, Sister Golda X, Sister Tassili Ma'at, and so much more. Make sure you go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator or scan the QR code.
King Simon, I love him. He's family, and he has one of the top shows on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network, actually.
Right.
So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, his show is called, it was really based on numerovation. It's a numerology show, and it's called How to Calculate Your Destiny.
Yes. By
King Simon. He's the host of the show. The show has done so well, we're now getting ready to start working on filming season 2. All right, so King Simon, one of the top shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV, streaming TV platform.
This is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now. Hey, this is King Simon, the International Numerovator. Remember, get all my books on Amazon or go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. And remember, don't forget to book my sessions at 347-496-1022. Book now. Okay, family. Okay. Starting a little late. Please pardon the delay. Starting a little late. Please pardon the delay. How you feeling out there today? Oh, this is going to be an interesting one today. Just want to let y'all know that. It's going to be interesting. Ooh, let me pour my water. Oh, yeah. I need some water. This one here. What's up, family? What's up? 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 Oh, man. Make sure everything is all right. Make sure the mic is all right. Can you hear me? You turn down the applause button. Can you hear me? If you could hear me, put the number 1 in the chat if you could hear me. If you could hear me now. The one who say you'll be rather wrong. That's not how you sing the song. Millie Jackson. Big up to Millie Jackson. I love me some Millie Jackson. One of my favorite artists from when I was young. Millie Jackson was something else. She said what she mean and meant what she said. That's one thing about Millie Jackson. Can you hear me? Put the number 1 in the chat if you can hear me right now. Let me take off this virtual background ski. Okay, good. There we go. All right. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming in and participating. And although I may have gotten in a little late, I overslept, and then because I went to bed late, but it's all good. Whatever dreams and recordings I had to get from that realm was well received. Those who don't know what a recording is, I'm talking about everything in the dreams. And some people might say they don't dream, but everybody does dream, but some people don't remember, and they haven't trained their mind to remember certain dreams. And sometimes I don't dream, or I don't remember my dreams, or what we call recordings, because everything that goes through the subconscious or the conscious mind is recorded, and it will be revealed to you as you're going out of this realm. A lot of the stuff that you went through, that light, flashing of a twinkle of eye, your life might flash before your eyes. Oh yeah, whatever you've seen and experienced will come back, and you'll see it again in another way, and what it meant to you, especially in that spiritual realm. I mean, I'm not rushing to go and see a lot of that, because a lot of truth is revealed in the other realms. And I hope people understand that. Where today is September the 2nd. Happy birthday to Cat Williams, who broke the internet on Club Shay Shay. Happy birthday to Antania, aka Nina, that works for Forbidden Knowledge. Shouting those beautiful people, and good day to everybody that's tuning in. Randall, Diamond, Linda B, people on Facebook. Want to shout out to those on Instagram right now. Everybody that's tuning in on Instagram. I don't have time to shout out everybody, but Mind Freak is in the building. Bridget Blessed is in the building. Tia the gift is in the building. Tamara is in the building. I'm not going to shout out everybody because I want to get right into the subject matter, because this is very near and dear to my heart. This was really inspired by a friend of mine that I think while talking to me on the phone through FaceTime, I think she either made a mistake of scanning through her house, and it kind of triggered me, to say the least, and took me back to a memory of when I was a super or a building manager in Brooklyn, New York. I was a building manager in Brooklyn, New York. I lived on, at that time, I was the building manager of this building that had drug addicts, that had all type of drug sellers. I was also a security in the Nation of Islam. At that time, I was doing security for this building also. So as I was also a security officer, my friends that was realty persons had me manage the building to help get the drug addicts or drug dealers out of the building. At that time, on on St. Mark's Avenue, I lived right up the block from the hip hop artist Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown and I are very good friends, and she's a little younger than I am, but Foxy Brown is a very good friend. Big up to Inga and her whole family, her brother, her moms. I believe she's still there on St. Mark's. They own a brownstone, so big up to. I don't think Inga lives there, but I know her mom's is still there, if I recall. So big up to Inga over there in between Park Slopes and Crown Heights, Brooklyn, over there off of Vanderbilt Avenue. So big up to Inga, aka Foxy Brown. Y'all knew Foxy with Jay-Z and all the great ones. So yeah, Foxy is a very good dear friend of mine. Every time she sees me, she's love all the time. And I've known her since she was younger. And, you know, when she just was breaking in, I knew her auntie Taffy, Aunt Taffy, and everybody. So respect to Inga, the great Foxy Brown, who I think she's very underrated. She was one of the best lyrical people. And maybe she wrote lyrics and she also had lyrics written for her, but she was predominantly a writer. She loved to write. And big up to her. She also dated Spraga Benz, the reggae artist. So I was living on that block at that particular time in the Nation of Islam around the 92, 93, around that time. I mean, yeah, say around 90. Yeah, definitely 93, because I was also doing security for the movies Clockers. I was also doing security on the security set with Spike Lee. I also used to do bodyguard and security, movie set security for Spike Lee on that particular. And our team did Malcolm X and all of that. So I've been around. So it's very important. This is a very important subject, because not only did, as a super or a building manager, where a building manager either had to take care of the little knickknacks, fixing pipes or cleaning and making sure that the place is clean, the hallway is clean, and making sure that all the garbage is out. And I had a cousin. Right now, he's in a home. Many people knew him when he was on 125th Street back in the day. I had a cousin that also was a hoarder, to the point he hoarded so much that when he was put into a home, there was a nest of rats under his bed. A nest. So hoarding, I come to find out when I Googled it and started doing some researching, I want to let people know that there is a difference between hoarding and collecting. Hoarding and collecting. And I want to bring that up on the screen right now. And you could just do a real quick Google search and put in the difference between hoarding and collecting. So what do they say here? The main differences between hoarding and collecting are: collecting is driven by a sense of purpose and enjoyment, while hoarding is often motivated by a need to acquire and hold on to things. Second, collectors are typically focused on a specific type of item and have a clear goal in mind for their collections, while hoarders may acquire a wide range of items without a clear purpose or plan. Number three, collectors engage in ritualistic behavior around organizing their items, whereas hoarders do not. Number four, and there's much more, but I'm not going to go into all that. Collectors involves keeping items in an organized manner without producing clutter or distress, while hoarders does not. So there is four distinct differences. I want to make sure I copy and paste and grab that, because I'm going to take it off the screen. And you don't have to be a witness and believe what I'm saying or not. You don't have to do none of that. Let me get that off the screen. You don't have to believe me, but it is a known disorder, mental disorder at that, which wasn't surprising to me when I started seeing mental health numbers and emotional numbers according to the word hoarding disorder. And I'm going to go into that after I express the spiritual meaning, and I'm going to express the solutions on how you can at least start healing from hoarding disorders, because it is a disorder. And a lot of people doubt the disorder. Let me say that again. A lot of people doubt the disorder. Now, there are places that if you're a hoarder or you're a collector, let's say you are a hoarder and a collector and you want to get rid of certain things, you can call the Salvation Army. You can give it to the Goodwill. And there's other places like Declutter online. Declutter if you want to get rid of CDs or anything that you're not keeping, or you're keeping off in nostalgia, or you want to start cleansing, because cleaning out different things are very important. I do a regular cleanse, not just a bodily cleanse, but also I do a regular cleanse of things that I don't need, may I have missed that I don't need and don't want to hold on. And remember, the universe wastes nothing. So when you even throw it away, it's don't mean that it's gone out of this realm. It's just gone out of your realm of what you are. Just like what you see on my shirt, you see some great singers and artists that some of us may be nostalgically connected to. I have CDs of Marvin Gaye and Gerald Levert and Black Moses himself, and of course Barry White and Teddy P and of Luther Vandross. I have CDs of all these people that I have collected and kept in a collection, but it's not all over the place and scattered and messed up. It's in a very refined collective storage at this time, because sometimes a lot of people don't realize, and this I got to tell y'all this story, and my cousins and family might be listening, and I got it, but it comes with my auntie in Canada. All of us was coming to a wedding, and my auntie transitioned. I won't get into the whole story, but she said she was suffering from some type of chest pain, and all of a sudden she passed on while we was preparing for her daughter's wedding. This was years ago. And she collected a lot of things. When we went into the barrel, she had rice, she had purses that she never used, different types of things brand new stuff that she never used, but she left. One thing, that's why I respect what Denzel said. He says, when you go into your grave, you never see a U-Haul following you or following the hearse. The U-Haul with all your stuff is not going in the grave with you. So you might as well release things along the way, even if you're releasing things for New Year's resolutions, or you're releasing things for your own personal New Year's, like your birthday. Because remember, before everybody's birthday, there's a thing called the critical cleansing cycle. So 52 days before your birthday, everybody has it. This is an old system of studying cycles, patterns, and sequences connected to numbers. All of us have it. So 52 days, it starts, count backwards from your birthday, 52 days. So if you're born on February 1st, it may land on December the 11th. If you're born February the 10th, it might land on another, if you count backwards on your calendar, 52 days. Or you can go to Google and say 52 days before this time, and you will get the 52-day cycle. And there's a multitude of cycles that you go through, 7 different cycles, but that final cycle before your birthday was what we call the critical cleansing cycle. And that is a cycle when you need to cleanse out people, places, and things that no longer serve your highest and wisest purpose, that you could afford to give away without keep on cluttering and holding on to things till you building a big mountain of stuff in your house. My aunt transitioned. And I guess because of all the confusion that was going on, my cousin, my female cousin at that time, she's still alive and well, her brother passed on, didn't want to give the stuff to the family. Instead, she did whatever she had to do it. But we knew that my aunt would have loved to give all of that to the family, because she had 2 sisters, and she had my mother and my aunt and other nephews and nieces that would have benefited from that. But because of whatever was going on my cousin's mind, and she could be watching this, and I hope she's not hurt by it, I'm just being honest from my perspective, what I felt, that it could have been distributed amongst family, not in a greedy manner, because we wasn't waiting for her to die. She unexpectedly left, and the family did not want to burden her daughter and her son with all that stuff. They was willing to take it, but whatever happened, you never know what's in the mind of an individual at that time, especially when it comes to a loss of a mother and father or whoever that they care about. So, and a lot of people that are known to be hoarders are holding on to old nostalgic things connected to their mom, their dad, their brothers and sisters, their aunties, their uncles, or just things that they just connect themselves with. But if it doesn't have a purpose, like I have a collection of books, but they are purposefully collected. Because I don't deal with street literature. I deal with scientific books. And I made sure I told my children, if they cannot keep the books, give it to some reputable organization or school or library because they will know what to do with the books, respecting of my $10,000 worth of books. Because I love collecting books, not only for research, but for studies, but for also health, holistic health, metaphysics. I have an eclectic study of books. I will get rid of everything else, but I love my books. But I keep them in an orderly fashion. Even in the storage, it's kept in an orderly, everything's in a box. And it's good to have storage as family. If a family can come together and buy a 10 by 10 storage, then maybe you can keep some of that stuff in a neat storage. Making sure you pay for it, and when you need it, when you need to throw stuff out, you could take big bags of plastic and throw things out. Cool. But let me show y'all the disorder. Let's read some things about the disorder, because I did some research on this. I'm not playing around with people. I just want people to check out what it is. And this is from the Mayo Clinic. Now, the Mayo Clinic is a well-researched clinic because hoarding disorder is a clinical diagnosis. It's a mental thing too. Now, what it says, overviews. Let's deal with the overview. Hoarding disorder. If everybody can see that, please put the number 1 in the chat. If you can see that, if you can see it, put the number 1 in the chat. If you can see what I've posted as, and a lot of us have family members that may hoard stuff. Like I said, one of my cousins, we found a whole nest of rats under his bed. Well, his brother found a whole nest of rats under his bed right there in Crown Heights. And now he lives in a home where nurses are taking care. Now, look at that. No, he don't care about anything that he kept because he cannot deal with that situation at this time. So we got to be very careful of how we hoard things. So the overview of hoarding says, hoarding disorder is an ongoing difficulty throwing away or parting with possessions because you believe that you need to save them. You may experience distress at the thought of getting rid of the items. You gradually keep and gather a huge number of items regardless of their actual value. That's the first overview. Hoarding often creates extremely cramped living conditions with only narrow pathways winding through stacks of clutter. How many people that you know that used to do that or do that? When I was a landlord and I had to clean out somebody's apartment because they got thrown out, this man hoarded all kinds of things. I mean, to get to the back of the room, it was a task. I had to climb over this, climb over that, and I made sure I had secured boots, steel-toe boots, legging boots that goes up to a certain part, so just in case rats came out and it tried to bite, it'd have to just bite those part of it, and it wouldn't get free. I had to wear gloves and all this type of stuff to clean out this man's apartment on the first floor of this building that in Crown Heights / Park Slope. So hoarding often creates extremely cramped living conditions with only narrow pathways. How many of you gone through this? How many of you gone through your relative's house, friend's house, family's house, and have seen this? And they will think that there's nothing wrong with that. This is just how they live. Don't you mess with my stuff. This is how it goes. If you F with my stuff, it's going to be a big argument. Bunch of things. I've been through it. I've seen it. I've seen it amongst family members. I've seen it in my building management life at that time in the 90s while I was doing multiple things. I was doing reggae. I was doing radio. I was doing security. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. Believe me, I had time management. The other part, countertops, sinks, stove, desks, stairways, all of it is packed and cluttered. And all other surfaces are usually piled with stuff. You may not be able to use some areas for their intended purposes. For example, you may not be able to cook in the kitchen. These are some examples where there's no more room inside your home. The clutter may spread to the garage, vehicles, yard, and other storage and storage areas. Another example of hoarding. Hoarding ranges from mild to severe. Let me say that again. Hoarding ranges from mild, very mild hoarding to severe hoarding. In some cases, hoarding may not have much impact on your life, while in other cases, it seriously affects your daily function. But not only does it affect the daily function of the individual, but it affects other family members. It affects other family members' mental well-being. The children start picking up. If you have a lot of children in there, they start picking up that hoarding energy, and they start doing the same thing, hoarding Barbie dolls or building or Legos. They've been outgrown all of this stuff. Now, there's a difference between collecting and hoarding. I already expressed that. Now, if you're collecting to one day sell Barbie dolls or sell your baseball cards or sell, I remember, again, I have to tell you my stories for impact, because I have lived or connected to people that, yes, it can be fire hazard. Somebody says fire hazard. Yes, it can be a fire hazard. That means a lot of people don't know, because I've practiced disaster preparedness for years. There's a lot of incendiary items that if a fire starts one place, it'll sweep through that whole house. And if you got children or little people that might be sleeping at one moment, somebody can drop a cigarette or drop a light, and that whole place will turn into a furnace, an inferno. So you gotta be careful of hoarding stuff. And I want everybody to share this with other people. And this is no disrespect to your family, your mothers, your fathers, and whoever's doing it, but it's usually, like I said, this thing called hoarding is a mental disorder. Let's get back to the rest of it. Hoarding ranges from mild to severe. In some cases, hoarding may not have much impact on your life, while in other cases, it seriously affects your daily function. People with hoarding disorder may not see it as a problem. So getting them to take part in treatments can be challenging. But intensive treatment can help you understand how your beliefs and behaviors can be changed so that you can live a safer and more enjoyable life. Now, in the description of this video, not the description of this video, but on the chat of these videos, I have the website that you can go to, article on hoarding disorder. You could click on that. You can save it for yourself. That's actually the mayoclinic.org, and you can get a lot of information on what's going on in people's life and what you need to do. Because sometimes when I was a super or a building manager, the guys that I've noticed that was hoarding were on drugs. They were either former drug addicts. They were still on crack. I mean, we went into a crack den and the whole place was up to the ceiling of stuff, because the guy was acting like he was Fred Sanford and selling drugs and trying to barter to get drugs with some of the stuff he had. He would sell his toaster iron or trade in his toaster iron, his TV. And I used to be a security man, so I'm watching from windows. I'm having my binoculars, seeing what this guy is doing just to get some crack, just to get some drugs. And those who went through the crack epidemic and all that, I thank the creator and knock on wood that I didn't go to. Matter of fact, when the crack epidemic came on, I became Muslim. So I moved right into a Muslim community. So I was saved from that. But everybody that went through it, not everybody was saved from it. Not everybody saved. And if you're taking Molly and Percocet and all that kind of stuff, fentanyl and all that stuff, and you starting to collect things and all of that, all that is happening, you are having you're going through mental instability, and you got to go check yourself out and go to a natural therapist. You don't have to go to somebody that's going to subscribe drugs to you so you can get rehooked on. That's what those Phoenix houses are all about. They're trying to take you off of drugs, but they're giving you meth and all these type of prescription drugs that can wean you off of one drug into another drug. We don't want you to do that. So those that are suffering from it, stay focused. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for whoever introduced you to drugs. And like I said, the people that I've noticed that were hoarders, the majority of times are either former drug users or that are still relapsing off of it, and also those that were drug users and abusers. That's what I've noticed, because I was in Brooklyn while they were doing security and fighting drug dealers back in the day. We trained martial arts every day. And thanks to people like Soke Littlejohn and Master Dr. Moses Powell and Master Ron Duncan that trained us on how to deal with close counter attacks in closets. They trained us. They trained us in close counter. I'm able to fight in my bathtub butt ass naked if I had to. I know that's TMI, but it is what it is. Thanks to the training of Sanukas and ninjutsu and all those great people that I've studied with, whether on the mat or watching them on television or just coming to a class or whatever. All my teachers, Professor Bill and all of them, I always got to salute them up, because a lot of those teachers and training not only disciplined me, but it saved my life against crackheads and needle users. Me and a partner of mine, while doing security in Manhattan, I was once attacked by a white guy with a hypodermic needle. I mean, coming into the elevator, he pulled it out, ready to rush us. And because we knew our moves, we was able to take him, block that off, catch his hand, and slam him into the elevator wall right behind us. And come to find out, he had a prosthetic leg. So his prosthetic, by the time we slammed him, his prosthetic leg popped off and flew out outside of he had a prosthetic leg. It is what it is. But those little things have protected us on the streets of New York. Sanukas and ninjutsu has been street tested in clubs and all over the place against crackheads and drug dealers and all that. So enough respect to all those people that train to protect themselves to get home, not to be a bad man or bad woman. So that article, it's pinned to the top. If you want to read more information, and go to their website, the mayoclinic.org. These are places that does extensive studies on different disorders. I want people to think about that. Now, what I'm going to do, hold on one second. I want to bring the spiritual meaning of it, and we're going to delve into it from my notes that I took, not just from this particular article, but from researching and looking through a lot of my notes. So hold on one second. Let me take a quick break to find something. I got to get something. Hold on, because they just delivered something to my house. Take a quick break. Don't go nowhere. I will be back after this. And please take the time out, family, if you have family members that are going through that, sit down and talk to them respectfully. Don't get into no arguments. And if you're living with them and you're dealing with that, then maybe, and you don't want to deal with that no more, maybe you need to find your own room or move out or do something. And you don't want your children to pick up on your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, and all that kind of stuff. Don't want to pick. Believe me, I've seen it over and over and over again. And most people that are hoarders don't believe they are hoarding. So look, I'll be right back after this. This is the spiritual numerovation meaning of hoarding disorder and how to heal from it. So I'm going to give solutions. So give me a moment and I'll be right back after this. Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for mental stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Number are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now. Numerovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You can also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You can also get my books on Amazon at Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerovator. That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. I am black and beautiful as usual. That's right, family. I am black and beautiful as usual. I'm melanated and beautiful as usual. All right, so, man, like I said, it's a trigger for me when I start seeing, my mother, bless her heart, she's still alive. My father also, which is interesting. Both of them are still alive. My mother's 85. My father is 81. Will be 81 in a few days. And I'm coming down to Tampa to come and visit him briefly. Hopefully you're not watching that. We're going to make that a surprise. But both of them live in an immaculate household. My mother had white furniture. I was raised... on not touching the furniture and dirtying up the furniture. She had white and damn near off-white furniture. That's how clean my sister and I had to keep this place. Any hoarding, it was our toys. And when we had to get rid of toys on it every year because we outgrow it, toys got to go, put in the Goodwill or go to Salvation Army. It had to go or go in the garbage. So I was raised, and I believe that comes from, why my mother and my father was that way is because my father's mother was a nurse, a registered nurse, not only from Jamaica and Cuba. She's born in Cuba and then raised in Jamaica and then went to America, but she was registered in registered in Jamaica and then registered in America. So, back in the day, nursing was a very cleansing thing. I don't know how it is today. My aunt that my mother was raised with and her daughters, that she was also a nurse. My mother's aunt and my father's grandmother were best friends back in Jamaica, and they all went to nursing school and went to midwifery school. All of them became midwives and all of that stuff. So nursing, they got to go through the scrubbing, constantly scrubbing doctors, helping doctors to keep clean. They had to keep the utensils clean in these hospitals. So that cleanliness, every time I went to any one of their house, there was always very clean. My grandmother and my grand aunt, very clean houses. So my mother and my sisters and her sisters was raised that way, and my father and his brother and his sister was raised that way. Out of cleanliness is godliness. So we didn't have a clutter thing. I never seen heavy clutter like that ever. In my mother's house or my father's house. And even when my mother and father separated, she had her own apartment. He had his own apartment. When I went to his place, immaculate. Red furniture with white wall, white and red furniture and all that kind. Clean. Kitchen clean, this clean, that clean. Everything I have to clean up before you go to bed. To this day, I clean up stuff and throw out what I don't need. If I took you in a survey of my house right now, you'll be like, wow, not even the garage is cluttered. We have our stuff that's still there, but it's everything is neatly and everything serves a purpose. So it's very important. This is a very important thing. So if you find that people are suffering from clutter, hoarding, disorder, I'm going to share some website on how to declutter. Declutter website. There's a declutter website. I use the decluttering website. I use decluttering website. You can sell your clutter if you want. How to sell your products or sell anything you want. This particular website I like. It's called www.declutter. Those are people that use it. I use it. I got rid of DVDs and CDs. They take a lot of stuff. And also the Salvation Army. You can Google that up. SalvationArmy.com. You can go to the SalvationArmy.com. But here's, I'm putting it in the chat called www.declutter. It's right there in the chat. You can actually All you have to do is send it to them, and they will send you even money. They will even pay you money for it. I think it's spelled wrong. Hold on. Let me make sure. Let me put it in right. Okay. Let me hold on. Let me do it again. I just want to make sure that y'all have these things just in case. And you might be getting rid of things of your parents that passed on and all that, because it is a selfish thing to be a hoarder, and then you die all of a sudden, and you got to leave this to your children to figure it out. It is selfish. I'll tell you, that is the most, and I've seen it happen. It could be the most selfish thing. So your family has to end up throwing things out because you didn't want to do the necessary cleaning and cleansing on a monthly basis or even a yearly basis. Like I said, during your critical cycle before your birthday. Just like we make New Year's resolutions, you can make decluttering and you can make hoarding resolutions and remove a lot of that stuff. Because there's a whole lot of stuff you really don't need. It's just that you're still nostalgic and connecting to this, and you really can get rid of a lot of stuff. And then they gather roaches and flies and spiders and all that stuff. I mean, people have clutter that they have not even seen in probably 2 to 3 years, maybe 10 years. Because everything is on the surface. All the new stuff is on the surface, and all the intricate stuff is inside. Declutter your house. Declutter. It's nasty. Period. It's nasty to do that, to keep that stuff. Especially if it's, like I said, my cousin, he had rats and roaches, a whole nest of rats and roaches in it. So this is the website. So you can go, oops, damn, I did it again. I failed. I messed it up again. Hold on. I forgot to put the / cripes. Okay, good. I'm gonna put it right in the website right now. Let me delete all the other ones. Copy. Okay, so this is the site that you want to use to declutter. They actually buy your DVDs and CDs. These people actually buy your DVDs and CDs. Okay, they actually buy your DVDs and CDs if you want to sell them. So if you have old CDs and DVDs and vinyl, they also buy your vinyl. Declutter. If you're not attached to that music or whatever you have there, you know what I'm saying? So think about it. So let me go to another aspect from my perspective again on the spiritual, because I'm going to give solutions. I want to give solutions because I think people need solutions to a lot of this stuff. And if your family members are not listening to you, more than likely they need mental therapy. They need some therapy. And I'm going to give you a website to go to. This sister right here is very good. Dr. Alicia, Coaching with Dr. Alicia. She can help you out. She is a licensed therapist, and she does it the natural way. She's not trying to give you any drugs and all that kind of stuff. No. We ain't doing that. She's not trying to give you any drugs. But take that website right now, Coaching with Dr. Alicia. She is Dr. Boyce Watkins' wife. Very accommodating, very beautiful, very, very sensitive about what she does. And she's sensitive to your needs and what you are and who you are. You can go to clinicians. You can go to Nikki Shepard. I've had Nikki Shepard on my show. I've had Malika Ali on my show, malikaali.com. I've had Dr. Alicia on my show. I've had a lot of people that deals with the psychology of people and why they do things, and they're well studied. So let's go to the lessons, if you don't mind, before I get to the numbers of this. We're 45 minutes in, and I didn't mean to stay up here too long, but I got to be strong. I don't mean to stay up here too long, but I got to be strong. All right. King Simon's notes. Spiritual meaning of hoarding disorder. Number 1, attachment to material security. Hoarding can represent a deep-seated fear of lack, insecurity, and attachment to material possessions as a means of feeling safe. That first one is a very important factor. Is your family holding on to things that is because they fear of losing things or insecurities? Or is it something that makes them feel safe, like a teddy bear in your arms or sucking your thumb? People suck thumbs and collect dolls because of a form of safety also, or wanting to feel safe because in their early parts of the life, maybe that doll or that teddy bear or that toy kept them safe. And some women and some men still have toys up to this day. Some of my toys are computers. I like technology. Some of my toys are martial arts gear. I have nunchucks, I have knives, I have weapons, I have throwing knives, I have swords, I have all kinds. Those are some of my toys that I still keep, but I know I can use it in case of emergency. Somebody coming in this house, and after I probably finish putting them down with another tool, then I probably chop them up and bury them. Just I'm joking. I call the police. It depends. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Number 2, emotional clutter. Hoarding can symbolize unresolved emotional issues, traumas, and unconscious patterns manifesting as physical clutter. I want everyone that might be connected to somebody that's hoarding really examine what that person is doing in their life. And again, don't disrespect them, because some of them really need some serious healing because of whatever they went through in their life. And some people have held on to things, held on to traumas and all types of stuff throughout their life. Rape, molestation. Maybe a doll was their protector during rape and molestation. Maybe a particular knife was a protection during their, and they kept that knife. That knife could be bent up and rusted right to this day. But they kept that knife because it protected them from some type of molester or somebody else trying to fondle them in the bed, especially with women or especially with girls, little girls. Pay attention to what little girls and little boys are holding on to. Emotional clutter. Number 3, fear of letting go. Remember the saying, let go and let God. Let go and let God. Please let go and let God. Let go and let God. Fear of letting go. Hoarding can indicate a fear of releasing the past memories and emotional attachments, making it difficult to move forward. How many people you know that may be in your family, maybe friends, that is finding it difficult to move forward from some past things, and you see them holding on to things in their house? And I mean, it happens to most older people. I remember going into whose house? And this is no disrespect to that elder. I'm sure whatever she collected, they served a purpose at certain periods of time, but her name was Queen Mother Moore. I remember going there to interview her for a television program, and she had a lot of stuff in her house. She was an older lady. Somebody like, I think Sister Dolores Blakely, she was also the caretaker, but she had a lot of stuff. And I believe it was more nostalgic stuff that connected her to the movement. So that might be a reason that hopefully her stuff became something part of a museum, like John Henry Clark's stuff been, and the Dr. Ben stuff have been. So some of our historians collect a lot of books and a lot of information and a lot of statues and all different types of things and bring it back to America. So that's all right sometimes, but I don't know. Like I said, there's a difference earlier. Like I said in the early parts of the show, there's a difference between collecting and hoarding. But going back to letting go, fear of letting go, hoarding can indicate a fear of releasing the past, memories, and emotional attachment, making it difficult to move forward. Number 4, disconnection from inner self. This is very important. Are you disconnected from your inner self, hoarders, or people that might be considered hoarders? Hoarding can represent a disconnection from one's inner self, values, priorities, leading to a focus on external possessions. Many people don't realize that you already have everything you need to move through this realm until you leave this realm. You came in with nothing and you're going to leave with nothing. All of us are going through this. There's one sure thing, is that we're going to leave this realm and go and become worm meat one day, or just become dust, or be cremate or whatever. Start doing the necessary cleansing, because one day you're going to leave here. Again, disconnection from inner self, because you don't realize that the inner value of who you are, you're disconnected from it. So you're hoarding. Hoarding can represent a disconnection from one's inner self values, priorities, and leading to a focus on external possession. You think that's you. You think that's an appendage of you, when it's not an appendage of you. The appendage of you is when you look in the mirror and you see in your eyes who you are. And I implore everyone that has become hoarders in any way, look in that mirror, look in your eye, and ask yourself, who am I? Why am I here? What is the things that I need to cleanse out of, the people, places, and things that I need to cleanse out of my life? And sometimes it's your own children. Sometimes it's your own grandchildren. Sometimes it's your niece, your nephew, your auntie, your uncle. Sometimes it's your family member. Sometimes it's friends. Sometimes you have to move to make so you can reconnect to your inner values and not be disconnected from your inner values. Number 5, lack of trust. That's a big part, because a lot of us are suffering from trust issues due to what has happened over the years. As babies, we came in with trusting every little thing until someone or something showed its face. Lack of trust. Hoarding can stem from a lack of trust in the universe, or your God, or your creator, others, or oneself, leading to a need for control through possessions. How many of you have gone through touching someone's stuff and they went absolutely berserk because they don't know if they don't know where things are? I keep my things here and there and blah, 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 blah. And they will argue you down, damn, they'll fight you and pull out a knife or a gun on you if you move their stuff. It's because of a need to control things, because that's the only inanimate thing that they control. They may not control their sister, their brother, their nephews, their aunties, but that piece of thing, they can definitely control it and move it around and redirect it, put it on and tuck it somewhere. That's control. And all of us have a little bit of control issues in us. Let's not be under any illusion. I myself have a little control issue when it comes to my stuff. I want my stuff where it's at, just like my mother and my father, because yes, that's where you can find it. But one thing about my mother and my father, as I've noticed, they're willing to give things away to churches and send things to Jamaica, the Caribbean, pack a barrel and send it away. Once it's packed, that's it. It's gone. Send it away so the universe can use it, or the creative force can use it for their own benefit. Lack of trust. Hoarding can stem from a lack of trust in the universe, or your God, or your Jesus, or your Allah, others, or oneself, leading to the need for control through possession. Number 6. Spiritual stagnation. This is a big thing, because to every spiritual, there's a physical. So if there's a stagnation in your spirituality, then there's a stagnation in your physical reality too. So hoarding can hinder spiritual growth, representing a resistance to change, transformation, and new experiences. I recall living in Brooklyn, and a young man that we knew, may he rest in peace, his name is John. I think he took his life. I recall living in Brooklyn, over there in Prospect Place in Brooklyn. And I recall taking my cousin and I taking this young man to Harlem for the first time. He was already grown. He never traveled that A train. The A train was right up the block. The A train and the 2 train, all of that 3 train that goes to Harlem was right. He never left that neighborhood, ever. There was a stagnation because he was on drugs, one thing. So he was stagnant already spiritually on drugs, and he was already suffering from some type of stagnation. So when we took him out to you should see his eyes brighten up, because he watched Apollo Theater all of his life, the Apollo Amateur Night, all his life. And when we took him to Harlem, You should see the tears in his eyes and how bright he got. He said, yo, this is the Apollo. I watch this every weekend, yo. When Bill Cosby was hosting it and all that kind of stuff. Bill Cosby used to host the Apollo. A lot of people don't remember that. Sinbad and all of them. Yo, this is the Apollo Theater. You should have seen his eyes. Because of that stagnation, he lacked stagnation. He lacked spiritual elevation, and he was stagnated spiritually, so it stagnated physically due to drug use or abuse, and it's something that he picked up from his mother or his father's side of the family. Definitely. So that number 6, spiritual stagnation, hoarding can hinder spiritual growth, representing a resistance to change, transformation, and new experiences. He got a new experience and was so excited. But after a week, he went right back into his slump and what he was used to, his stagnant life of drugs. And then he ended up taking his own life because he couldn't get over that. So you got to be very mindful, family, of this stagnant energy that we hold on to. Adults, as well as what you're imparting to your children. Because when you drop them off at families' houses like that, or friends' houses like that, and they have this stagnant energy in the house, your children is picking it up. Whether they're babysitting or not, your children are picking up that same attitude. And remember, the right attitude will help to elevate your altitude on where you want to go, and you want to help assist children to do that. That's why I wrote children's book. Let We Tell the Story is a children's book about helping children to heighten their altitude. No matter what we came through with this quote unquote slavery and colonialism, heighten your attitude, because we're the ones who invented Egyptology, building pyramids and all that kind of stuff. We're the ones who created and studied the human anatomy. You got to teach your children to be on a higher level. Don't keep them stagnant in you, especially if you're a hoarder and you feel stagnant in your own way and you feel limited. If we believe the children are the future, we used to sing that song, I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. If you're a hoarder, you can't give them a sense of pride, or you can because you're teaching them not to be like you. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I mean, you got to listen to that song. And that song, if you listen to it from a deeper spiritual meaning, it will have you cry all the time to remind you what you need to do for your babies, your nephews, your nieces, your grandchildren. Teach them. Unresolved grief. Number 7. Hoarding can be a coping mechanism for unresolved grief. Holding on to possessions as a way to maintain a connection to the past. How many people you know that does that? Hold on to possessions to keep that, to maintain, and they want to pass it on to you. There might be an old watch that, if you ever, did you ever watch that movie, Pulp Fiction? And Bruce Willis was a child, and the general or the sergeant came in, one of the military sergeants came and gave him a watch. And he told the story about his father holding on to this watch, and they was in the Viet Cong and they was in the Vietnam. And in order for him to hide the watch, he had to stick it up his rectum. So he's telling Bruce Willis as a child this story about the importance of why he needs to keep this watch, because this passing on of possession from one asshole to another, because the same captain or the same military person said he had to stick the watch up his backside so they wouldn't take the watch from him. So this same watch that his father had in his backside, and this guy, the captain or this military dude had in his backside, he gave it to Bruce Willis as a child. That was one of the most funniest part of the movie, but I understood. Unresolved grief. Hoarding can be a coping mechanism for unresolved grief, holding onto possessions as a way to maintain a connection to the past. That watch was the connection. No matter what that watch went through, Whatever that watch watched in people's rectums, there it is. Connection to the past. Oh my gosh, that was a funny part of Pulp Fiction, man. Lord have mercy. Yeah, that was Pulp Fiction was funny as heck. I love that movie with John Travolta and of course John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. And Bruce Willis was also in that movie. And not Vin Diesel, what's his name? Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames was in that movie. So go check out that movie. So that's a definitely form of hoarding. You know what I'm saying? Unresolved grief. Number 8, energetic blockage. Hoarding can create energetic blockage, preventing the flow of positive energy, abundance, and new opportunities. Come on, let's get rid of that energy. It's like taking some type of colon tea. You got to cleanse your colon. Sometimes you got to cleanse your energetic colon. You got to cleanse your energetic blocking by doing necessary cleaning, allowing people to help you clean. Another story, a friend of my next door neighbor of my mother, the father died. He transitioned. He was a military white guy. His wife had to handle. So I noticed that they was throwing away a lot of his books. So I said, can I come downstairs and get some of his books? Because they was throwing away a lot of stuff. The only thing they would not throw away was the comic books, because the comic books are worth a lot of money. And as a matter of fact, he had 2 Superman 1 comic books. Superman 1. Y'all look up Superman 1. That Superman 1 comic book is worth, to this day, probably $500,000 to $1 million. He did not want to get rid of. He had Batman 1, Spider-Man 1, Black Panther 1. He had all the ones, and a collection of comic books. Daffy Duck, Mickey Mouse. He had all types of. All of it was in plastic. And I had the opportunity to steal one, but I said, that's not good karma. So I'm good. I just told them, I said, look, I think y'all should look this up online about this comic book, because this comic book is worth a lot. And sure enough, they sold the comic book, was able to keep their house until they was willing to sell it, and they bought a house out of state because they had the for sale sign on it and everything. But when they sold that comic book, I remember listening to 1010 Wins. It's a news broadcast in New York, a news, but they usually broadcast 10 things in 10 minutes. That's why it's called 1010 Wins. News program on AM station. And they announced that a Superman 1 comic book was sold anonymously for $1 million. I knew it was them because their for sale sign went down, and they stayed there for another 2 to 3 years, but they bought another house somewhere else, I think in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, or something like that. So again, going back to number 8, energetic blockage. Hoarding can create energetic blockage, preventing a flow of positive energy, abundance, and new opportunities. Now, that Superman comic book, because I told them what it was worth, it became something of abundance. They were able, and they had 2 of them. So you can get $2 million off of that. So their father left them a whole bunch of books. A lot of them they threw away, but the comic books, he definitely told them to keep those comic books, because comic book trade was very important. So they did get the abundance off of all that clutter that he had in the basement of books and all that. When they started cleansing things out, the abundance came because they were able to sell that comic book for $1 million. Number 9, reflection of inner chaos. Woo. Hoarding can mirror inner chaos, disorganization, and confusion, requiring a journey of self-reflection and healing. Reflection of inner chaos. What is the hoarder, or the person that may be known as a hoarder, holding on to, that has become something chaotic inside of them to the point that they have to hold on to external things and be disorganized or unorganized in the house, which can create confusion, because like I said, you can cause fires and all types of stuff in that house, in people's apartments and houses and places that they are hoarding things alike. So it can be a mirror reflection of what their insides feel. Hoarding can be a mirror inner chaos within that person. Number 10, opportunity for transformation. Hoarding can serve as a catalyst for spiritual transformation, prompting a journey of self-discovery, release, and renewal. Opportunity for transformation, because why? It, like it says, hoarding can serve as a catalyst for spiritual transformation. Once you're realizing that you are hoarding things that's unnecessary, especially in your mind, because no one believes in Jesus or God until you have decided to believe in it. No one believes that they are hoarding or they're hoarders until they realize, you know what, I have to change. So when you realize that you are hoarding, then it can serve as a catalyst for a transformation to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I got to get rid of all of this. You start bringing in barrels or garbage bags or big plastic bags and start moving everything. I suggest personally, whoever's a hoarder, whoever you may feel, tell them and say, look, mom or dad, I know you love a lot of this stuff, and I want you to label all the stuff that you really want to keep, that you really mean, and then all of this stuff, send them away on a vacation. All the stuff that they labeled, that's what I did before I moved down to Georgia. We labeled all the stuff that we wanted to keep and all the stuff that we was going to throw away. Boom. Necessary stuff like stereos and this was kept, and books and all that was kept. And I went away. You know, you tell them to go away, send them on a nice vacation to a nice sunny beach or Caribbean for like a week or a few days, and clean that out and only leaves the stuff that was stapled up. Now they may go through some type of they might go through some stuff when they come back. Yes, they might go, but at least they will get used to, at least they know that they held on or they marked certain things that they wanted to keep. That's one suggestion. Other than that, go to therapy. And maybe that they can discover certain things within their therapeutic sessions with certain therapists that can help you. Now, by exploring the spiritual dimensions of hoarding disorder, individuals can address the underlying issues driving their behavior, fostering a deeper understanding, healing, and transformation. Now, solutions on how to heal from hoarding disorder. Here's some solutions. I'd like to offer that to you before I get off, if you don't mind. If you don't mind me offering some solutions, please put the number 1 in the chat. If you don't mind me offering some solutions. And this is not a knock on anybody. Some of us, especially our elders, we go through it. Some of us that love certain things in our life, we strive to keep it. But at the end of the day, if you transition tomorrow or next week or 10 years from now, whatever you've held on to, believe me, your children is going to have the burden of that. Your grandchildren are going to have the burden of that. And more than likely, they're going to throw it all away anyway. You know what I'm saying? They're going to throw it all away anyway. More than likely, because our children don't care about all this stuff. They don't care about CDs and DVDs and all that kind of stuff. They got Google. They got YouTube. They got Audibles. They got all of that now. They got Netflix. They got all Hulu, Netflix, Prime. They got all the movies on there now. Blockbuster has now, and you know what's so funny? Blockbuster, according to legend, Blockbuster had the chance to become the new Netflix, but they didn't believe. Somebody in that organization did not have the vision. So Netflix was swooped down and just took what they had to take and created Netflix and all these different types, and everything started following. Blockbuster. A lot of people remember Blockbuster. We used to have to go and get our videos there. Blockbuster videos. All right, so here's the solution. I'm going to close out, and I'm going to close out with the mathematics connected to the words. Here's the solutions. I like to offer solutions from now. Solutions and how to heal from hoarding disorder. Loosening the grip of hoarding disorders requires a compassionate and multifaceted approach. Here's a step-by-step guide to healing. Number one, seek professional help. I've been saying this throughout the whole thing. Consult a therapist, counselor, or a psychologist specializing in hoarding disorder. Number two, acknowledge and accept. Recognize the issue and accept the need for change. Recognize the issue and accept the needs for change. Number three, understanding the underlying causes. Identify emotional, psychological, or traumatic roots driving the hoarding behavior. Come on now, you can do it. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Lena Horne. Believe in yourself as I believe in you. The Wiz. Understand the underlying causes. Number three, identifying emotional, psychological, and traumatic roots driving the hoarding behavior. Number four, develop self-compassion. Practice kindness, empathy, and patience with yourself throughout the healing process. It is a process. It's not going to be overnight. A person that are hoarders are not going to heal overnight. So children that have hoarding parents or aunties or cousins, do not try to force it on them. It's a gradual process, and they have to go through the process. And most of all, they have to be willing to go through the process. Number five, create a support network. Surround yourself with understanding family, friends, or support groups. Family, friends, support groups. Go get it. You can do it. It can be done. You got to surround yourself with like-minded people that wants to help you get over the hoarding of clothing and books and all that kind of stuff. And again, you can go to the Salvation Army. You can go to Declutter, like I just showed. You can go to Goodwill, and you can give away a lot of this stuff that it can serve the great. You can give it to churches. Some churches send it to Caribbean countries or send it to other Iraq and all these places that are missed. Go. And you know what I do? Before I move on to number 6, this is what I do. Before I send out a package or a bag of clothing, I always send a blessing on it and say, may these clothing that I use reach and serve the greater good for other people. May this book that I'm giving away or putting away, or may this DVD or CD serve the greater purpose for everybody that might touch it after me. I always send a prayer of releasing, but also of receiving of those people that might get it. I might not know the person in Africa if they send it, or to the Caribbeans, or send it to some poor family inside the Americas, or in Puerto Rico, or in Brazil, or wherever. Or Goodwill, somebody might purchase it from the Goodwill. I might never meet that person, but I'm going to send a prayer and meditate over the package before I send it out so it can reach to who it's supposed. And I make sure all of the stuff is clean. I'll wash everything. I'll wash all of that. My mother taught me that, to wash everything, because you're showing other people respect. So you don't want to send dirty things. You want to send clean things, because that's a form of respect. Cleanliness is godliness. Is not a sense of, it is godliness. Number 6, start small. Begin with tiny steps. Don't, like I said, I know a lot of our older family members, our mothers, our fathers, hold on to things. Start small. Start shredding paper that you don't like and get rid of that and put it into the recycling bin and all that kind of stuff. Tearing stuff up and, things that you don't really. Start shredding things. Like clearing single shelves and sorting out small areas. Start small, because every step will help get you to where you got to go. But start small, and start from your bathroom or your kitchen or your own bedroom, because you need to cleanse the area. Start with the area that you sleep in the most, that you lay your head down, because clutter while you're sleeping is not a good look. It creates all types of weird dreams and all types of things, and sometimes it blocks you from having significant dreams. Number 7, organize and categorize. Use storage solutions and categorize your items to maintain order. If you're going to keep it, at least put some order to it. Go get some of those tote bags, bins, or if it's dealing with clothes, you fold those clothes out and put them in vacuum storage. You can suck out all the air and it can store it and flatten it out, and you can put it in the closet neatly. You got all kinds of tools that you can use. You can Google, or you can go to Amazon and get all type of storage units. So you can build a whole shelf, and they could all be your books and all that. I mean, I used to use cinder blocks and sticks and create a whole shelf for books and all that kind of stuff. Organize and categorize. Use storage solutions and categorize items to maintain order. Number 8, let go of duplicates and non-essentials. If you have too many of one thing, break it down to 2 things or 1 thing and get rid of the rest. Let go of duplicates and non-essential. Gradually release items no longer needed or useful. So let's say you have 2 or 3 of the same books. Hey, go sell that book online on eBay. If you got 3, let's say you got 3 Malcolm X books. It's like, 3 Malcolm X books. Okay, the rest got to go. Go give it out to somebody else, or go give it to the Goodwill. Somebody might find that book, Malcolm X. It might change their life. It doesn't change anyone's life if you're hoarding it and keeping it in a box or on the floor. Certain books changes people's lives. So go and give it out, or give it to the library. Let them have it. Let go of duplicates and non-essential, and gradually release items no longer needed or useful. Number 9, practice mindfulness and self-care. Very important factor. Regularly engage in activities promoting relaxation and stress reduction. So if you want to heal from your hoarding ways, you got to be mindful. And when you start healing from your hoarding ways, then you're not whoring ways, hoarding ways. Let's get that straight. You're starting to develop a self-care regimen for yourself, regularly engaging in activities that's going to promote relaxation and stress reduction. Number 10, reframe thinking patterns. Challenge and replace negative thoughts with positive, empowering ones. A good book, I would always suggest, no matter what religion you're a part of, a good book that I would always suggest is Reverend Ike's book. Reverend Ike, no matter what you felt around, was a prophet when it came to rechanging and rethinking your mind, where he would teach us not to spend money, circulate money. He changed the mindset. That's why this book is called Health, Joy, and Prosperity for You, a Science of Living study guide. Very good book. Go get it on Amazon. Share it with your children. Read it to your children. See if they have an audio book with it, but you could open up to any page. He has affirmation treatments. He has quotes. He has the power within you. He has any page you can turn it to. Reverend Ike got something good for you. Any page. And you could be under any religious. You could be an atheist, for God's sake. It will help you in some form or fashion to guide you into the science of living. Because there is a science to living, no doubt. Let's get back to it. Hold on. Let me get back to it. No. Hold on. Let me get back to it. You can do it. You know that you can. Reframe thinking patterns, challenge and replace negative thoughts with positive, empowering ones. Number 11. Remember, these are all solutions to hoarding disorder from my perspective, from my studies. Develop healthy habits. Establish Routines for maintaining organization and clutter-free spaces. Develop a routine. Remember, it can take 21 days to break a habit. And it also takes 21 days to establish a new habit. For some, it may take shorter time. For others, it may take longer time. But developing healthy habits. Establish routines for maintaining organization and clutter-free spaces. Create that clutter-free. So if something does happen negative, a fire might take over. You don't want it to kill anybody in that house because you had too much stuff in it. From the front door to the back door, a fire or clutter can block off everything and destroy everything and life. So come on, get that space clutter-free. Number 12, celebrate progress. Family, friends, acknowledge and celebrate the small victories along the way. It's all right to do so. So you might have a little wine here. You might want to go out and celebrate, have dinner in that clutter-free space. Now you have a table and a dining table so you and your grandchildren can sit around and talk like y'all used to do when y'all was at Big Mama's house back in the day, when y'all was younger. If y'all ever experienced that, we used to sit around the table as Caribbean family. We used to have supper and then dinner in Jamaica. I used to have supper was a certain time and then dinner. Supper was like soup. And then that's like the appetizer before dinner back in the day. So celebrate progress, acknowledge and celebrate small victories along the way. Number 13, consider professional organizing assistance. Consider professional organizing assistance. If needed, hire a professional organizer for guidance and support. Or Google it up. Go research it. Go study. Everything is on Google or YouTube University right now. You can go to YouTube University on how to declutter your house right now for free. If you don't want to hire a professional organizer, because you got professional organizers teaching classes on YouTube for free. Consider professional organizing assistance. If needed, hire a professional organizer for guidance and support. If this is very helpful to y'all, put the number 1 in the chat. If this is helpful to y'all, put the number 1 in the chat. I'm not even finished yet. If this is helpful to you and your family or friends, you may know that, put the number 1 in the chat. Number 13. No, that's number 13. We just did that. Number 14, be patient. Be patient and persistent. Healing from hoarding disorder takes time, effort, and perseverance. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your parents, your grandparents. Be patient with them. Because they're going to say, oh, don't bother me. I don't want you to touch nothing. But they miserable as all hell. Misery love company, but so does happiness love company also. Let me say that again. They say misery love company, but so does happiness love company also. There's a duality in everything. They said hurt people hurts people, but also heal people heals people. There's a duality. When you go into the woods, where there's a poison, in that vicinity, there's always a cure. You go into the woods, there could be poison ivy, and next to poison ivy, probably 5 feet away, there might be grapeseed leaf that can actually heal the poison ivy. Or there's methods of intaking of poison ivy or rubbing a little bit of poison ivy on your skin until you develop a cure for it or a resistance to it. When you go in the field, I used to learn this back in the day when we used to go in the field and all that kind of stuff. Where there's a cure, where there's a poison in the woods or in your respective area, there's always a cure next to it. And like Ian Levanzan says, as far as humans are concerned, the solution is in the same room with the problem. What I say, the solution is in the same mirror, with the problem. The solution, you are the solution to what's going on in your life. So be patient, be persistent. Healing from hoarding disorder takes time, effort, and perseverance. Remember, overcoming hoarding disorder is a journey of self-discovery, growth, and healing. Treat yourself with kindness and don't hesitate to seek help when needed. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all enjoyed that immensely. I hope y'all share this with friends and family and all that might need it. And don't force it on them. Don't force what I'm trying to teach people. Don't force it on them. You don't have to do that. As far as the numbers are concerned, there's a lot of numbers up here, but I'm going to stay focused. The word hoarding disorder adds up to a 24 and a 96, and it adds up to a 6, all leading to the number 6. 6 deals with balance. So to overcome a hoarding disorder, you have to have balance. Or if you are suffering from hoarding disorders, the negative of the number 6, and I like to read some of the negative of the number 6 when we want to maintain power. And I'm going to this numerology book. I just want to read from her perspective. This is Leah Brooke Thompson. And she talks about the negative of the number 6. Compulsive, over-emotional, resentful, overprotective, narrow-minded, condemning, critical, controlling. So when you're suffering from a hoarding disorder, it adds up to the number 6, which is a controlling energy. You want to control things because you may not be able to control your friends and your family, but you can control objects, things that you hold on to, like I've been saying through this whole dissertation. In the Chaldean system, it adds up to a number 20 in one aspect, a number 56, which is 11 in another aspect. I'm keeping it simple. I'm not going to run down all of the meanings for that. Adds up to a number 2 when you break it down to the number 2. What does she say about the negative of the number 2? The number 2 is dependent. So when you're suffering from hoarding disorder, you become dependent on that material thing. Self-pity, emotional, too emotional, low self-esteem, because it's connected to this number 2 energy. Extremist. When you're hoarding things to the extreme, like I told you about that crackhead or that person that was a drug addict. When I say all of the stuff that he was storing was up to the roof, they just had an aisle to go through. Everything was up to the roof. It was up to the roof, nasty. And they justify it. That's the number 2. Number 6, both number 2 and number 6 in numerology are healing numbers. So there is a way to heal from this. But the negative of the number 2 and the 6 is being imbalanced because of what you're holding on to and what you feel and what's hurting you from your past. And because what's so interesting, the word hoarding adds up to the mental health number, which is the number 4. So you're holding things in your head. 4 is a mental health number in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. That's a mental health number. And when I broke it all down, hoarding disorder, as far as the vowels is concerned, the word hoarding, the vowels of the word adds up to a number 7. And this one, disorder, added to a number 2, another health number, which added to a number 9, which can be a very destructive number. Because 9 is showing up. There's a very destructive, but you see 11 in there. You see the spiritual numbers all through there. 11 shows up over here. 11 shows up over here. There's a spirituality there's a spiritual thing going on in this hoarding disorder. Something is obstructing your spiritual balance. Why you're doing what you're doing by hoarding things and constantly hoarding things that might obstruct your living situation. But like I said, I'm not going to get too deep. I already went through a lot, and I woke up a little late. I hope everyone enjoyed this. And hey, if you want to share Cash App Love or PayPal Love, the Cash App and PayPal is right there. And I do this for the love. I don't do this for the likes. I do this for the love. Because, like I said earlier when I started this has been near and dear to my heart because I've seen it not only in my own family, this hoarding disorder, but I've seen it as a super or a manager of a building back in the 90s. I see it. like I said earlier, collecting and hoarding is two different things. I have a collection of books that if you look, any one of y'all on my channel or Billy Carson's channel or Brother Rich channel, if y'all came to my collection, y'all want to take you'll want to take all of these books, especially if you're into health and metaphysics or history. You'd want to Sanetta's channel. Any one of those channels will take my books, because I didn't collect books just for reading's sake, for street lit about sex and all that. I collected books that will educate my children, and if they took all of this information that I have, it will help them along the line, not only of getting a trust or will, mathematics, science, history, holistic health, all of that. That's my collection. Metaphysics, all of that is in here. Disaster preparedness, all of that is in here. Meaningful biographies by Reverend Ike or by Dick Gregory, meaningful. Paul Mooney, meaningful stuff. As much as Paul Mooney was a comedian, his book was very stimulating as far as information and how this entertainment world is. Thank you, Linda Jenkins, for sending 1010. Thank you very much for sending that Cash App love. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Linda always supporting. Cash App is there. PayPal is there. You want to send some love, no problem. But I do this because I do it for the love. I don't do it for the likes, like Chronic says. And it's interesting. She said 1010 because Chronix, the reggae artist, is born October 10th. I do it for the love, and I do it for the likes. I do it for the love. I don't do it for the likes. That's why I don't have 1 million people, because I'm not trying to attract drama and all that kind of. And I am shadow banned. I know I'm shadow banned for people that I've put on previously, like Dr. Phil Valentine and various others. I know I'm shadow banned. However, if you notice, I don't bring drama because drama is not healing. Drama is not a healing thing. It doesn't heal you. It hurts you. Negative drama hurts you. It's entertaining. I watch Tasha K sometimes with her drama. I watch Sonetta with the debates and all the arguments going on sometimes. It's entertaining, but when I watch at least 2 hours of it, two hours of it, I have to bombard my mind with positive stuff for 4 hours. I got to double the bombardment of comedy shows or whatever, or shows that's going to bring some type of sense of information to my head. I watch all those shows. I watch all the little. I watch drama-filled shows or negative stuff sometimes. I'll listen to some negative movement, but music. But at the interval of that, I have to keep on before I go to bed, and as soon as I get up, I have to listen to positive, because when you go to bed, you're setting your thoughts and your dream world for positive things. That's why you try to help your children to listen to positive things before they go to bed, not knucklehead stuff. As soon as they wake up, have them listen to positive things, not knucklehead stuff. Happy Labor Day to everybody celebrating Labor Day out there. Some people are on the Parkway right now. I forgot about Labor Day because I don't support it. I don't go out there anymore. But if you're supporting Labor Day and you're doing a barbecue and all that, I'm just going to relax in my backyard and just soak in the sun, do some studying, watch some movies, and just chill out by myself. I'm good. I'm going to call my ex-wife and see what they're doing with my grandchildren. If they're not doing it, I'm good. This is relaxing day, not Labor Day for me. So family, take it upon yourself to be more intentional with the positive stuff. Be more solution orientated. Remember, overcoming hoarding disorder is a journey of self-discovery, growth, healing. Treat yourself with kindness and don't hesitate to seek help when needed. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can take care of yourself. And if your mother and your father or somebody is going through it, be patient with them. And sometimes that patient takes it right to the grave. They might take it right to the grave. You never know. Just make sure you have a plan to know what to do with their stuff when it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you know what you're going to do for their stuff with their stuff when it's time to go. I love my mother and father, and I'm thankful for what they, even in the brief moments of visiting my father, I seen and noticed that he was very cleansing. He kept his house clean. He still every morning still got up and folded his, even up to this day, they have a king size bed, and him and his wife or him, they might still fold the bed. My grandfather was so clean in Jamaica. My grandfather on my mother's side, that I used to have to sleep in his bed and other people would sleep in the other room. Linda, thank you very much. Anastasio, thank you very much. 2 Lindas, boy, sending me 10. Thank you very much, Linda Anastasio, for sending the Cash App love. But my grandfather, he lived till 103 and passed on in his sleep. My grandfather used to get us up, have us go in the bathroom, brush our teeth, wash our face. By the time we come out that bathroom, the bed is spread. And this was in his 90s, his 80s and his 90s. He still spread. He got up early already, took a shower, took his clothes, put on his clothes, still tucking. He dressed like he was going to work every day, even while he was retired, with his pen and his pad right here, getting ready to go sit down and watch his listen to his news and read the newspaper, the daily news. I miss him. I miss my grandfather. I miss that energy. And I know it's still around me to do the same thing. I get up every morning, and I spread the bed and I look at his picture and I look at my grandmother's picture, who was a nurse, because they represented 2 different sides of my family, my mother's side and my father's side. So I don't put a bunch of ancestors on there. Those 2 represent, and those people were respected amongst all of the family members on both sides of the family. And those 2 respected each other. So I put them on the altar. I don't need a bunch of, some people need a bunch of ancestors, a bunch of pictures. I just need my mother's side, which was my grandfather, the patriarch. And I needed my father's side, which was the matriarch, which was my grandmother. That's all I need. And then when I salute them and burn ancestral money for them, I'm burning it from both sides of the family, knocking it out one time. I'm not doing all this extra stuff because in my spirit, I don't feel I need to put on anybody else, especially in my room. And yes, I'm teared up. I'm tearing up because my grandfather was a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge. And he was a friend of Garvey, and he was part of the UNIA on my mother's side. My mother never taught me this. I had to find out by questioning because I'm curious. I've always been a curious child, and I'm still a curious child at heart right now, even as I'm a man, because we're still in our childhood, because we haven't even reached 120 years. So I'm still a child. I was curious. I asked the questions, and he told me the story about Garvey and singing the song to get him out of jail and the whole march that they did and all of that. At the age of 90, he told me the story. Between 89 and 90, he told me the story. I never forget the story. I just found the cassette. So I'm going to have to play the cassette to see if that's the right cassette, that was him. I got to see if that was him singing the song, because he even sang the song. He remembered that song that they used to sing in front of the General Penitentiary, because General Penitentiary is probably 10 to 5 minutes away from my about 10 to 15 minutes away from my grandfather's house, the General. So it was easy for him to go and join those marches to get Garvey out of prison, to help him and salute him. On my father's side, my grandmother was the matriarch. And they're in my book. They're in my children's book. So if you get a chance, I made sure I put it in my new children's book for children. So acknowledging your ancestors. My Aunt Vicky, one of the nurses that I told you about, that's my grandmother over here on my mother's side. That's my grandmother on my father's side. These are all nurses and midwives. It's my mother and father. They're still alive. Then I have cartoon pictures of my grandfather. I have a cartoon picture of my grandfather and how he would look in cartoon. Big up to Rainbow Heights. Dr. Sebi is also in here. Cartoon image of Dr. Sebi. Also, my Cuban aunt is in here. Dennis Brown is here. Queen Ty is in here. My other aunt, the same midwife, is in there. Beautiful artwork. Beautiful artwork for children 4 years old and up. 4 years old to 10 years old. Simple book. It's not extensive, but it's a good book to order on Amazon or Kindle right now if you want. Very good book. And the illustrator is done by Rainbow Arts. So if you want to order any of my books, here it is. Go to Amazon.com or go to my Linktree, and you'll see all of the books right under each other, on top of each other. Let We Tell the Story is a history book on why we should tell our own story and don't depend on anybody else telling our story. Whatever we went through, colonialism and racism and all that kind of stuff, let we tell our story. Let we tell the story. That's my book. You know, very beautiful book, I'm telling you. Very beautiful book. You know? Yeah, they passed on years ago. Thank you for the condolences, but they passed on years ago. But thank you. All these men on my shirt has passed on too. Ain't that something? All these guys on the shirt. Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, Gerald Levert, Isaac Hayes, Teddy Pendergrass, and Barry White. All of them has passed on also. So I wore this shirt purposely because some of us collect music and we like to hoard music. But if you're going to keep music, that's what you. Those are the times. Good music is the times when it's good for healing. It's not really hoarding if you're keeping it just to remember the good times and that kept you motivated and all that kind of stuff. I love to dance to their music. I still dance to Luther or Marvin Gaye's music or Gerald Levert or Black Moses or Teddy or definitely Barry White and Teddy Pendergrass. I love all their music. Born he was born April the 20th. Marvin Gaye was born April the 2nd. Isaac Hayes was born August the 20th. Barry White was born September the 12th. Teddy P was born March 26th. Gerald Levert, I can't remember Gerald Levert. I knew I wrote that down somewhere, but let's put Gerald Levert. Gerald Levert's birthday. July 13th. I got to remember he was born the same day as my best man who took his life years ago. July 13th. He's born July the 13th. The late, great Gerald Levert. You know, big up to him. That's the son of Eddie Levert, who was born June the 16th. Eddie Levert is born the same day as Tupac. So that's how I usually connect birthdays, like remembering celebrities or famous people in the world. So now that I remember Gerald Levert, he's always connected to the person that I wrote this book. One of the people that I wrote this book because he took his life. I wrote this book because of one of my dear friends who took his life, born on the 13th of July. And my other dear friend who was born January 13th, she was born the same day as one of my professors in martial arts, Dr. Moses Powell. One of I was never on the mat with him, but we all had verbal, and I always watched his tapes. I was trained by his students, but I was never trained directly by Dr. Moses Powell. I want to get that straight. But he would allow me sometimes to watch, be in the audience, and chill because he knew I was on radio, I was doing television, and, you know, I did an article on Doc. So he really respected me that I kept on wanting to promote his book. I wanted him to do a book. I wanted him to write a book, and I told him I would help you. Let's do this book. But it never came to fruition. But yeah, I wrote that book because of people that took their life in my family and my friends. Numerovation for mental stability. So this is a love letter to people that go through mental depression, hoarding disorder, all of that. This is a love letter for those people that might be suffering unknowingly from, and this is just to help you stay motivated with your numbers. Only book of its kind. Only book of its kind. You ain't gonna find no other book that focuses on mental health and motivating through numbers and different sciences of the numbers too. All right. So on that note, family, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming up. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being a part of the journey. And I hope this served a great purpose. I hope it served a great purpose for all of you out there, all of your family members. And again, don't force your family members. Don't do it. Some of them are not ready. Some of them are still holding on to some real deep stuff from their family. And forgive them, like Dr. B asks us to do. Dr. B, remember what Dr. B says? I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection. Because in this realm, we're not perfect. In the spiritual realm, the energy is perfect. But in this realm, this physical realm, we're not perfect. We take on it. We do the good, we do the bad, we do the evil, we do the wicked. We got molesters, pedophiles, all kinds, all ilks, all colors, creed. But be thankful for your life if you're doing things on a righteous way. If you're doing things righteously, be thankful. Be thankful for your life. Remember, I want to thank Tamika Royale last night. She gave us some great information on her Healing Hoods Corp. She will be with me in New York City on October the 27th. Going to get those flyers done for my second leg of my 20th anniversary. Remember, I'm celebrating 29 years in promotion and production. It started in New York, but I'm doing this one in Georgia at the new Black Wall Street Mall, where we had the gathering of the masters. So make sure y'all swipe that QR code. Look at that QR code, swipe that QR code, and come and have fun with me. Brother Rich has confirmed to say a few words about Dick Gregory. We're doing a tribute to Dick Gregory. Brother Dr. B. Sirius has confirmed to say a few words about his teacher, Dick Gregory. Tassili Ma'at will be doing the libation to bring in the whole event. It starts at 11 on the dot. We get in there. Vendors get there by 9:30, 10 o'clock. We start setting up, and people are allowed in from 10:30, quarter to 11, and then boom, we start at 11 o'clock with the libation. Then we have Lorenzo Sanford, who's going to do a musical tribute to our brother, Dick Gregory. And we have Sister High Heels, aka Golda X, that will be speaking for at least 10 minutes on the connection between Dick Gregory and the Nation of Islam. We have Red Pill and Blue Pill that's going to be coming in also to share their love and their connection with Dick Gregory, because they interviewed Dick Gregory also. And again, Tassili Ma'at will be doing the libation. So hopefully y'all can scan this QR code and come and join me. Let's have some fun. Give me some hugs. 29 years is not easy in this promotional world professionally. Next year, I'm celebrating 30 years in it. Although I started at the age of 12, I professionally started in 1995. So King Simon Productions and Promotion has been around since 1995 officially in the realm of New York City, and doing all the major stuff that we did with other collaborations and associations. So remember, this martial arts is happening, a tribute to the ladies and also the Sanukas man, Lumumba himself, on November the 9th. Make sure you scan that QR code, or make sure you call 917-755-6238. Also want to remind people, if you're a vendor, you can vend at the event. I think I got 16 more spaces left. If you're a vendor, but you can't vend food, we do have a food vendor already. But also we have group rates, and young people are absolutely free from 17 to 0. From 0 to 17, absolutely free. And if they make a lot of noise, y'all can walk around the mall and come back until the children calm down. Take them around the mall. There's nice places that they can see, places they can sit down and play in the midst of everything. And everybody is like a family in that mall, the new Black Wall Street Mall. They can go on Marcus Garvey Boulevard. They can go on Timbuktu Road. They can go on Madam C.J. Walker Boulevard. All of that is there. Malcolm X Boulevard. They got all of that in there. Powerful. Beautiful place. Big up to CarrieAnnIngram.com. That's CarrieAnnIngram.com. Make sure you support her jewelry, her Reiki, and her tarot consultation. Big up to 11 University. If you want any cardology or astrology done, contact 11 University. And that's cardology, astrology, and numerology done. Text her at 470-775-6434. That's 470-775-6434. And also, if you want to work from home, they're currently interviewing. Take a snapshot of this if you want. You know anybody that needs to work from home, but you have to have a clean record. You have to be 18 years and older, male or female. Text hire me to 770-861-9906. That's 770-861-9906. Part-time, full-time work is available. Paid daily company trips, but you must have a clean record. Big up to Lloyd Strayhorn, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Make sure you support our brother Lloyd Strayhorn at Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Make sure you support Amira. She does cartomancy and she does international yoga teacher online and Reiki master. Make sure you hit her up at 518. Text her at 518-796-7638. And my son, he has a recording studio with Brother Jeff, greenstudionyc.com. That's greenstudionyc.com. Tell him that King Simon sent you. If you want to book a session with me, I have 2 different sessions. I have a 15-minute and a 30-minute, and I will send you the detail after you text me. If you want to get any of my merch, go to King Simon, the Numerovator at Linktree/King Simon, the Numerovator. You could also go to Linktree from the course to guide you to the 2-hour course on Udemy, or you can go to udemy.com, put the word Numerovation in it. Go get my books through Linktree/King Simon, the Numerovator, or Amazon. And if you want this hardcover book, you got to pay through PayPal and Cash App and put your mailing address. But if you buy this book now, for the next, until October the 12th, you will get a free book of one of Billy Carson's book, a free book, one of Billy Carson's books, with every purchase of this hardcover book here. All right. So family, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being a part of the journey. I want to thank people on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for being a part of the journey. And again, this has been the spiritual and numerovational meaning of hoarding disorder and how to heal from it. Remember, what I said is already in the description. So in the description of this video, everything that I wrote and all the healing possibilities are also in the description of this video. Let me close out with Dr. Blair's prayer. Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. Thank you, Dr. Blair, for all that you offered us, all that you taught us. Thank you to Dr. B. I already said his mantra. Thank you to Dr. B for all that you're still teaching us and doing. And let me give you their website just in case. Let me give you Dr. B's website. Here's Dr. B's website, elevationtime.com, or Linktree/Dr. B Sirius, or you can go to his YouTube channel at Dr. B. And Delbert Blair's website is themetacenter2.com, themetacenter2.com, or themetacenter.chicago.com, the late, great Dr. Delbert Blair. He comes in my dreams every now and then. We talk. He's teaching a class. He's always teaching. That's one thing I know about Dr. Blair. Big up to him. Big up to one of my elders, Baba Phil Valentine. This is his information. If you want any information with Dr. Phil Valentine, his number is 800-847-1291. If you want any consultation or you want to take his school, go to a school. He also has homeschooling for children and all that. 800-847-1291. If you do call and leave a message, please leave a message and say your number at least twice or 3 times so they can call you back. This is Dr. Phil Valentine and Dr. Nalani Valentine's website, homeschooling website, and university website. The emails and all that, their PayPal is all here too. Although Dr. Valentine didn't come on, I'll be bringing him on in a couple of weeks because he has something coming up. Got to bring on Dr. Valentine very soon. All right, family, please like, subscribe, comment, and share at least with 5 new people. At least 5 new people. My 30th anniversary, I'm looking at bringing some people. I'm not going to say anything yet, but my 30th anniversary will more than likely be in August or September of 2025. August or September of 2025. Depending on what's the algorithms going on. If Brother Rich does something in August, then I'll move it to September. I got no problem. Around September, right around the fall. Or I do it earlier, but I definitely got to do my 30th anniversary in New York and then Georgia. This time I'm doing Georgia, my 29th anniversary in Georgia, and then the second half is going to be at Nicholas, Brooklyn. And more than likely, I'm going to be doing a book signing out there of this book, this children's book. I might see if I could order all my books and have it out there. And I could do a book signing of all my books and do a lecture on numerology and the importance of writing books and publish or perish. That was said by Franz Fanon, publish or perish. Everybody should publish because we need to keep our legacy alive. And you want to be able to pass it down from generation to generation. Put it in libraries, put it online, put it in an ebook, whatever it is, audiobook, whatever you're going to do with it, make it happen. All right. So family, have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being a part of this journey of your brother, King Simon. And if you're suffering from any mental health and you need a good therapist, this person right here, coaching with Alicia, dralicia.com, very good person, very good therapist. If you're dealing with any health issues, Dr. Lila Africa and the Fig Tree HG, that's Dr. Sabi's former wife, the one who started the healing journey. Dr. Africa, his wife, is still doing what she got to do right now. And she has consultation, she has classes, she has certificate classes and all of that going on right now. Right now. And if you want any of the alignment assignments, I still have the alignment assignments on the importance of quiet time. If you want the alignment assignments, circulate or donate 1111 or 2022 to PayPal or Cash App, and make sure you put your email in the PayPal or the Cash App description, and I will send you that alignment assignment. And you can do it for a whole month or whatever your time permit, but the alignment assignments are here to help you to align. This is one of them. I might put out one next month. Yeah, more than likely I'm going to put out one next month or every 2 months. I'm working on if I should do it once a month or every 2 months. Sometimes you got to give yourself time because, like I said earlier, according to certain statistics, it takes 21 to 22 days to break a habit, sometimes 30 days, depending on the person. All right. So that's the alignment assignment. You can use my Cash App and my PayPal and put the email in the description if you want me to send you the alignment assignment via email. All right. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe, be great, be wonderful. And remember, I love you because I love myself. Thank you and have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Peace. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
King Simon, I love him. He's family, and he has one of the top shows on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network, actually.
That's right.
So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, his show is called, it was really based on Numerovation. It's a numerology show, and it's called How to Calculate Your Destiny.
Yes. By
King Simon. He's the host of the show. The show has done so well, we're now getting ready to start working on filming season 2. All right, so King Simon, one of the top shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV. So streaming TV platform.
Hey family, on Sunday, October 13th, I am celebrating 29 years in promotion and production at the new Black Wall Street Mall with tribute to Dick Gregory. That's right, celebrating 29 years, so text that number to get more information. Remember, Baba Ashra Kwesi and Mirra Kwesi will be closing out the evening with a salute by Dr. B. Sirius, Brother Rich, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Lorenzo Sanford, Sister Golda X, Sister Tassili Ma'at, and so much more. Make sure you go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator or scan the QR code. It's the Numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. So remember, our job as studiers of these metaphysical, esoteric knowledge is to help enhance people to be better. I, as a numerovator, using the numbers, or quote-unquote numerals, and motivation to get people to understand why they need to activate their numbers to be their very best self and maximize it. Because the numerals hold a frequency. And if you're willing to turn up that frequency, then that frequency can help to guide you and navigate you to a higher height that will allow you to spiral to be your best self. We must remember that.